Hey, and welcome back to another episode of The Chef's Table. I'm Chef Evelyn, and I am a culinary brand strategist that specializes in helping chefs live, cook, and work on their own terms. And the way I do that is by helping them charge premium prices through building high-end culinary brands. And so in today's video, I want to talk about 5 things that happen when you increase your prices, right? So, you may have been thinking about increasing your prices. You may have tried to increase your prices. You may have seen other of your fellow chefs, culinary entrepreneurs increase their prices. And you're like, you know what? I should increase my prices too. And so listen, if you've been thinking about it, I want to tell you about 5 things that happen when you do that. Now, if you're new here, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the series. This is like a weekly video series of trainings that I do specifically for culinary entrepreneurs on how to make more money in their business by charging premium prices and building high-end culinary brands. And if you've been here before, well, thanks for coming back. For seconds, for thirds, for fourths, listen, you must have liked what something I was serving up and you were hungry for more. Listen, and if you're new here and you like what you hear at the end of this video, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on every single one of these videos that I drop every week. So we are in a lengthy series about charging premium prices in your food business because that is what I specialize in. And I thought today I kind of give you a more casual approach about some of the benefits, the side effects, if you will, things that happen when you increase your prices. Okay, obviously some of them are going to be fairly obvious, and then some of them you might be like, you know what, I never thought about it like that, right? So let's get into the first one, and it's that you will start to attract, when you increase your prices, a different demographic of clientele. And I've talked about this at length in some of my previous videos that the moment I started increasing my prices, like literally my nightmare clients, if you will, completely went away. Like, I'm not saying that you may not still run into challenging clients, but the clients who, wanted the sun, the moon, and the stars, but had the world's smallest budget, the clients who wanted to, go line by line through your invoice with a fine-tooth comb and try to figure out ways to cheapen the price, right? The clients who kind of like had sticker shock when they saw your invoice. Like, I no longer encountered those types of clientele. And as a matter of fact, neither do my clients, right? They're always so amazed at like the different caliber, if you will, of clients when you charge premium prices, that they're just a lot easier to work with. They're not super demanding. They're laid back, they're generous. I've talked a lot before about how generous my clients became when I increased my prices, and it became a pleasure, right? We've all dealt with the people who have tried to figure out a way to make our services cheaper, whether it be a brand, a company, an individual, a couple, whoever is hiring us for what we do. And it's just kind of like the price is the price. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you can't afford it, just say that. And that's okay. Like, that's no dig, right? But it's like the price is the price. If you can't afford it, just say that. Don't call me expensive. Don't call me overpriced. Don't do that. Just be like, it's, you know what? Thank you. That's not in my budget right now. But one of the first things I noticed that when I increased my prices and kind of, converted my brand to a high-end culinary brand, was that the type of clientele I got was very, very different. That, those moments that I was having more frequently before where I was just like, I'm tired of this and tired of trying to explain to people why my services cost what they cost. And like, I just was like, I just don't want to do that. Like, either you want to hire me or you don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? And not that we don't need to communicate the value that we offer. We absolutely do that. Every business, any business needs to do that. But it was like, I didn't want to have to debate with somebody, and I didn't want to really compete with other chefs on price. Like, I didn't want price to be my competitive advantage. And so when I increased my prices, like, I got a different clientele, and my clients say the same thing. They're like, oh my gosh, like, I really enjoy my clients now. Like, I'm being well compensated and I enjoy them. Because sometimes you can enjoy your clients but you're not being well compensated, or sometimes you can be well compensated but you're not enjoying your clients. And I was like, I want both. I want both. So that's what I did, right? The second thing, which is an obvious one, is you obviously make more money, but I think the thing that really stuck out to me is that I made money and I was working less. And I was just like, most of my life I was taught, or I accepted the belief that in order to make more, I had to work more and more and more, longer, harder, faster, right? And, having a high-end business model actually completely contradicts that. I actually ended up working less and making more when I increased my prices. I remember the time when I got the first gig that what I made in one night was what I used to make in a week, right? And then I remember when I got, the first gig where what I made in 2 to 3 days worth of work is what I used to make in a month. And and you can't unsee that. You can't experience that. You can't unlearn that, right? Like you realize, like, oh my God, like this, I'm never turning back. Like I tell people now, like I'm certifiably unemployable because I've seen what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it's like to have my own business, to, want to take off, give myself a raise, things like that. And I also have seen what charging premium prices is like, and I can't go back. What's that song? Can't go back, won't go back to the way things used to be. Like I can't go back. And once you start charging and getting premium prices in your business, you won't go back either, because you're like, I'm literally making more and I'm working substantially less, right? So to that point, the third thing that happened was because I was making more but working less, my quality of life increased substantially. Like I found time to get back to cooking for fun, right? Like cooking is our passion. And so when you take your passion and you make it your profession, sometimes you lose the element of it that was just for fun, right? And I remember that there was a point when I was charging lower prices and I was working a lot more, that I wasn't really cooking because I felt like every time I cooked, it needed to be for business purposes. And what charging premium prices allow me to do was to get back to sometimes just cooking just because I loved it, just because I enjoyed it, just because getting in front of a stove, right, and pulling out my knives or baking or whatever, like, was just like coming home to me. And I thought to myself, I won't sacrifice this feeling just to gain a client. Like I will not sacrifice this quality of life just to lower my prices just to get somebody because I'm nervous that I'm not going to get another client, right? And so increasing my prices gave me quality of life. I was traveling more because I was working less, right? I was able to really focus energy on myself and, my health and my relationships and friendships and things like that. And so in general, I was just like, yeah, I'm sold. I'm a goner. Like, yes, I had to put in the work to build the kind of brand that would easily command those prices, right? Which is what I teach my clients, is like, this is what you need to do to be able to do that. But it was the investments that I had to make and the time that I had to spend to build that was so well worth it, that I was like, yeah, like my quality of life has substantially improved. And when you think about like the traditional chef's paths, or even when people are talking about culinary entrepreneurships, like there's either a salary cap, because if you're a personal chef, like you can only take so many clients in a month, and there's only so much you can charge, depending on how you're offering your products and services. But if you position yourself as a premium brand, like you can give yourself a bandwidth that you don't have to try to squeeze in another client. You don't have to try to squeeze in, or take on clients that you really don't want to work with, or do, services or offer services that you're not really in love with or that you've outgrown, right? So, quality of life was huge. Okay. The next thing that happened when I increased my prices is that I had more clients seeking after me than me having to go and get clients. Like, yes, do you need to market your business? Absolutely. Like, yes. So I'm not team don't do anything, and if you build it, they will come, because that's not 100% true. Like, if you build it and you tell them about it and you go out and you engage with them and you invite them over, they will come. But right, so like that phrase, if you build it they will come, like does not apply to entrepreneurship. Okay, but I did find that as I increased my prices, you know, it made my brand exclusive. It made it aspirational, right? It made it something people, you know, wanted to treat themselves with. And so it made people seek after me. So you know, as my reputation spread, obviously, and also as I increased my prices, I found that actually more people were coming to me already ready to pay those premium prices. And so I was just like, oh, this is a great experience. Like, you know, the grind of constantly like, where am I going to get my next client? Where am I going to get my next client? Like, the way I position my brand as a high-end culinary brand had people seeking after me. And I was like, listen, I can't unsee this. I can't unexperience this. I can't unlearn this. And so I was like, yeah, this is the place for me. Like, once I dipped my toe into having a high-end culinary brand, I was like, oh, I'm home. I found my people. Okay, this is where I belong. Okay, this is where I feel accepted and included. I'm just joking, but literally I was like, this feels really, really good to me. Particularly like if you're a career changer, like I was, like, you're not, like, you already paid your dues in a different career. You're not trying to start from the bottom. Like, we're not trying to be started from the bottom. Now we're here. Like, that's not our anthem. That's not our mantra. Okay, like at all. Like, it's cute for a chorus and a song, but as a lifestyle, that's not. I don't want to start again from the bottom. Okay, I didn't want to do that. So the last thing is that I really was able to differentiate my brand as an experience, and I no longer had to compete with other people on price. And like, I can't tell you how good it feels and how good it felt to realize that, like, I wasn't really worried about, like, oh, is somebody charging less than me? You know, who are they doing the same thing that I'm doing and charging less? Like, I really didn't have to worry about that. That I understood that positioning myself as a high-end culinary brand and all the factors that go into it. And you've probably heard me mention this before. Like, I have a framework that I used when I was working for culinary companies and I was increasing their prices. And then I used that framework on myself. I talk about that in my How to Charge Premium Prices in Your Food Brand Masterclass. But that, like, I knew that I was no longer competing on price because I knew that I had walked through this framework and implemented it into my business. And so people were coming to me and they didn't care about the price. You know, it wasn't the deciding factor. It wasn't their first question. Well, how much is it, right? It was like, I want this experience that I've heard that you offered, right? Like, how can I get on the calendar? And like, the price was a formality, right? And so I can't tell you how good it feels to set your price and know that I don't have to negotiate my prices. I don't have to defend them. I don't have to, you know, over-explain to people. Yes, am I communicating my value? But I'm doing it in so many direct and indirect ways, right? That, you know, whether it's the consulting side of my business, which is like, you know, what I'm doing here, that by the time people come to me, they're ready. They're ready. They know that this is not going to be the cheapest thing, but they don't want the cheapest thing, right? They want the highest quality thing. They want the best experience that they can get. They want, you know, the most specialized thing that they can get. And so that's happened in every aspect of my food business. When I was personal chefing and doing dinner parties, when I was teaching cooking classes, and even now in my consulting business. So, and I even see all of these, you know, changes happen with my clients, and they're just like, wow, like, how am I working less and making more? How am I, you know, getting these clients that I really, really enjoy working with and want to come back and work with me again and again and again, you know, having more time to pay attention to myself, to take care of myself. Like, sometimes we're so busy you know, really trying to expand the business, grow the business, or if you're in the phase of just getting the business off the ground or getting the business to the next level, whatever that is for you, that, you know, we kind of self-sacrifice and the return isn't there. Like that we put all this input in, but we're not charging what we need to charge. And so it's like it can lead to burnout and frustration and resentment and exhaustion. And I just don't wish that on anybody. So I always say not a super long video today, and then I look at the timer and I'm like, I've been talking for X amount of time. But anyway, let me know, you know, are those things that, you know, interest you? Like what makes you want to charge premium prices in your food business? This is something that I mentioned here. Do you have other reasons on why you want to charge premium prices in your food business? And if you want to know what it takes to be able to easily and effortlessly charge premium prices in your food business, then head on over to highendculinarybrand.com, grab the 90-minute masterclass, and I guarantee you it will change the way that you view your business. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.